All right, good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Dave Cave for Heartland Championship Wrestling. It is Sunday night, January the 23rd, and I have just watched the most insane football game, and I know a lot of you may have watched the Bills and the Chiefs in the craziest football game I've ever seen, and just a crazy day of football. So we're going to wind down with Heartland Championship Wrestling here tonight as we bring you excitement from Pro Wrestling MidAmerica in the Sportatorium in Dallas. And it has been almost as crazy a night in the Heartland as it was in the two football games today. Both crazy football games today. But here in Dallas, the show opened with some noise, as before the opening match even got underway, the fabulous Freebirds came to the announcer's table. They are the World Tag Team Champions, but they were not happy here tonight. And if you have followed Heartland Championship Wrestling on the Filsinger Games message board, you will know why. Because they were the victims of a sneak attack and a glitter bombing. Buddy Roberts got glitter bombed by Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty outside a bar in Atlanta, Georgia. And they have been on the warpath since then. But the Midnight Rockers, Michaels and Jannetty, are not on the card here tonight. And the Freebirds came and stomped and romped around and just did not find any outlet for their aggression. So that happened even before our opening match. Once we got things started in our opening contest, it was Billy Jack Haynes with a victory over the new acquisition for Pro Wrestling MidAmerica, the Canadian great trainer Ron Hutchison. Wahoo McDaniel followed up with a hard-fought victory over Austin Idol. And then it was the team of Strikeforce, Rick Martel and Tito Santana, with a big win over the debuting Moondogs. And in our last contest before the TV broadcast came on air, it was Bobo Brazil returning to action with a win over Nord the Barbarian. Tonight on the channel, we have three matches for you as we say good evening to Cleveland Baseball Fan 879 in the chat room. Thank you for coming by to check things out here tonight. I don't know if I can provide as much entertainment as the NFL did today, but we'll have a good time here in the Dave Cave. Our opening contest for the TV matches will be the very popular Hillbilly Jim, accompanied by the members of Too Cool and the Great Muda, and they all love to get their swerve on and get jiggy with it, dancing in the ring. Of course, Too Cool known for their dancing, and Great Muda just dancing right along with them, and Hillbilly Jim doing the jig to open the match here. Not well received by Hillbilly Jim's opponent, Ted Dibiase. And so there's some milling around in the ring right now. Following this match, we will see a number one contenders match for the Pro Wrestling MidAmerica Tag Team Championship. The Crusher and Dick the Bruiser are your current tag team champions, and the winner of tonight's match will face that team for the titles. It will be the Conway family, Tiger Conway Sr. and Tiger Conway Jr., very popular competitors around the southern U.S., taking on the team known as the Celestial Bodies, Tom Prichard and Dennis Condrey, two outstanding wrestlers and outstanding tag team performers. The winner of that match will move on for a title shot. And in our main event, the highly anticipated Pro Wrestling MidAmerica Heavyweight Championship bout, as Nick Bockwinkel will defend his belt against David Von Erich. So with that, Hillbilly Jim has finally cleared the ring of all of his dance partners and the rest of his crew. Ted Dibiase is ready and waiting for this match to get started, and we will get things underway here from the Dave Cave. And immediately the opening initiative roll is tied. Wouldn't you know it, that means we go to the play of the face to the mat special events book, which I forgot to bring over to the table with me. And since it's an even roll, we'll go to Dibiase on the wild card results. And the roll is 3-1. Is Dibiase quick? He is quicker than Hillbilly Jim, so he does count as quick. Wrestler darts out of the way of ring intruder. Scores 1 point. Referee restores order, and the match continues. So Dibiase apparently got mixed up in some shenanigans with the great Muda and company. And we may hear more about that later. But Dibiase came out on top of that. And after surviving that confrontation, we'll give the initiative to Dibiase to start things off. And it is Dibiase capturing Hillbilly Jim in a hammerlock. Dibiase is going to follow that with a whip to the ropes. Off the ropes comes Hillbilly Jim, but on a roll of 5, it is a powerful shoulder tackle from Hillbilly Jim that takes Dibiase down to the canvas. And Hillbilly Jim takes charge. He scoops Dibiase up and slams him down hard to the mat. Big body slam by Hillbilly Jim. Dibiase stunned. And Hillbilly Jim is going to just go ahead and pitch Ted Dibiase out of the ring, where Too Cool and Great Muda are waiting, and they're going to give Dibiase a little of the business, but no physical involvement from this group. And Dibiase will make the helpless crawl back into the ring ahead of the Ted count. Hillbilly Jim is waiting, and Jim is just going to pitch him right back out of the ring again. Hillbilly Jim dancing a jig around the ring, and he's more interested in entertaining the fans than he is wrestling Dibiase at this point. And on a ring roll of 9, it is once again the helpless crawl as Dibiase slaps the mat in frustration and makes his way back into the ring, as Hillbilly Jim and all the fans at ringside are having a good time at the expense of Ted Dibiase. And now here's a big elbow drop on Dibiase as he rolls back into the ring, and Dibiase now in frustration is going to go out of the ring on his own. And this time Dibiase is going to take the offensive. He grabs Hillbilly Jim by the leg and just nails Hillbilly Jim, pulls him out of the ring and drills him with a big forearm smash to the side of the head, and then smacks the head of Hillbilly Jim face down onto the ring apron. So Ted Dibiase has grown weary of the fun and games, and he is going to take control now. And as Hillbilly Jim comes back into the ring, Dibiase is going to drop him with a backbreaker down hard across the knee. Dibiase follows that up, and now it's Dibiase who pitches Hillbilly Jim out of the ring. These two are more interested in getting it on the arena floor than anything, and Dibiase is now going to do a little mugging and posing in the ring and dancing a little jig to infuriate Hillbilly Jim, who stands at ringside with his buddies, before finally returning to action where Dibiase is waiting. Dibiase now is going to knock Hillbilly Jim off of the ring apron and out of the ring again. Wouldn't let Jim back into the ring. And now it's Jim's turn. He grabs Dibiase by the leg, and a wild brawl erupts on the arena floor. Both men throwing fist and fire. The referee may end up throwing this match out. DQ rolls all around. Hillbilly Jim will not be disqualified. Ted Dibiase will have to roll again, and on a roll of 5 or lower, he'll be disqualified. But on a roll of 10, the match will continue. Now we roll odd even to see who wins the brawl. We'll give Dibiase the even roll. And on a roll of 6, it is Dibiase who wins the brawl outside the ring. Action returns to the ring, and Dibiase goes right to the Cobra Clutch. Cobra Clutch has been applied, and Hillbilly Jim will be forced to give it up on a roll of 5 or lower. And on a roll of 5, he got him. Just like that. After all of the shenanigans and all of the inside the ring and outside the ring business and stuff going on inside the ring and out, Dibiase, you got to give him credit for being the smarter of the two men in this match. And he wins it by virtue of the Cobra Clutch. After a lot of shenanigans and not a lot of wrestling, but Dibiase is your winner in tonight's opening contest. All right. Score 1 for Ted Dibiase by way of submission as he puts away Hillbilly Jim via the Cobra Clutch to get things started off here in tonight's broadcast. And that takes us on to our next contest. As headed to the ring now with a tag team title match on the line are two teams that have been around Texas a while and worked their way up the contenders ratings. The very popular duo out of Shreveport, Louisiana, father and son, Tiger Conway Sr. and Tiger Conway Jr., will take on two savvy and rugged veterans in Dr. Tom Pritchard and Dennis Condrey with a tag team title shot on the line. And it looks like after we've got things in order here in the ring, it will be Senior starting things off against Dennis Condrey. Condrey and Senior moving out against one another. And the opening initiative roll goes to, once again, it is a tie. So we'll resolve this with the tag match face-to-the-face book. And in tag matches, the roll of 5-5 smart is Conway Senior smart. I think Dennis Condrey is more of a veteran. So wrestler distracted, partner takes beating outside the ring, opponent scores 2 points. So Tiger Conway Jr. takes a beating outside of the ring. And oh, look at this. We have got chaos here in Dallas. Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry Gordy, Buddy Jack Roberts have hit the ring. And they are the Freebirds, and they are very upset. And they have come in and they have beaten down Tiger Conway Jr. Now they're working on Senior. Dennis Condrey and Tom Pritchard, they're just going to bail out of this situation. They don't want to get into it with the Freebirds. But the Freebirds are taking the Conways to school in a big way. They have already put Junior out of action. He is down and semi-conscious on the floor after Terry Gordy just walloped him with an Oriental spike and then slammed him headfirst into the turnbuckle post. And now Hayes and Buddy Jack Roberts are beating down Tiger Conway Sr. What an episode we are seeing here. Conway is doing his best, but with 3-on-1, he's never going to keep up with this scurvy bunch of Freebirds. But oh, out of the locker room, here comes Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. They weren't booked to be here tonight, but they have showed up. And they are taking Hayes and Gordy and Buddy Jack Roberts, and it is now a 6-way brawl. I don't believe what we are seeing here in Dallas. Tiger Conway Sr., Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty going all over ringside with Hayes and Gordy and Buddy Jack Roberts. Let's see who's going to prevail in this situation. As we will roll for each of these teams. The Conways and Jannetty get a roll of 8 altogether. The Freebirds get a total roll of 8. So these teams are not going to settle anything here. It is a pull-apart brawl. All 6 men going at it, fists and fire. Michaels, Jannetty, Conway, Hayes, Gordy, Roberts. Men from the dressing room are pouring in trying to break this up. Officials in the ring, wrestlers in the ring. It is chaos here in Dallas, and I think we're going to have to just throw out this this tag team match and come back to that later at a future date, because it is chaos here in Dallas as the Fabulous Freebirds and the Midnight Rockers with Tiger Conway Sr. alongside are in a throwdown with the Fabulous Freebirds, and nothing decided here, as all 6 men are just going at it, fists and fire. And it is going to take quite some time for this to get broken up and broken down and get any kind of order restored here in Dallas, as the Fabulous Freebirds showed up in a rage looking for Michaels and Jannetty before the show. And Michaels and Jannetty were not booked in a match on this show, and nobody knew that they were actually hanging out in the Sportatorium, waiting for just this moment. So Michaels and Gordy and Roberts made their move. They interrupted the tag team match. put a vicious beat down on Tiger Conway Jr. Senior came to his aid. He was getting pummeled, and it was Jannetty and Michaels coming out to make the save, and the end result was a six-way brawl, and all six men have brawled their way back to the locker room. Cleveland baseball fan says, I smell a fatal four-way tag match or a three-way dance. I think what we're going to end up with is a six-man tag match, grudge style, with the fabulous Freebirds, the three of them taking on Jannetty and Michaels and Tiger Conway Sr. in a grudge match, and we'll have to come back and decide the number one contender to the tag team championships later on. The Freebirds are your world tag team champions. The Midnight Rockers are the former champions. They have lost the titles to the Freebirds, but this all started when Michaels and Jannetty were named Tag Team of the Year for 2021, and the Freebirds were not happy about that at all, and the Freebirds attacked Michaels and Jannetty in the parking lot and stole the trophy that was given to the Rockers for being the number one Tag Team of the Year for 2021. Michaels and Jannetty took their revenge, not with violence, but with subterfuge, when they lured Buddy Jack Roberts into a glitter bomb trap outside a bar in Atlanta, Georgia. And tonight they come face to face for the first time since all of those shenanigans have gone down, and the results were nothing but chaos. All right, so we'll throw out that match between the Conways and the Celestial Bodies, and we will come back later on to determine at some point in the future who's going to be the number one contenders to the PWMA Tag Team Championship. As we say hello to Frank Wainscott. Hooday, says Frank Wainscott in the chat room. Yeah, I had my hometown favorite Cincinnati Bengals in the division round yesterday, as well as the local favorites, the Green Bay Packers. The Packers did not play well and went down to defeat, but the Bengals are now going on to face the Kansas City Chiefs next week for a berth in the Super Bowl, and that's going to be fun next weekend. So, wow, where do we go from here? It's time for the main event of the evening, as Nick Bockwinkel is here in Dallas to defend his Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Championship against the very popular local contender David Von Erich. The legends of the Von Erichs lives on in Texas. Even though David is long since dead and gone, we will be able to put these two into the ring and see who will come away with the PWMA Heavyweight Championship. Bockwinkel is your champion. He has held this title now on 4 occasions. This is David Von Erich's first shot at the gold. And the fans here in Dallas are as excited as can be and firmly behind their local hero, David Von Erich, as he tries to take the PWMA Heavyweight Championship away from the devious and ultra-talented Nick Bockwinkel. And the opening initiative role does indeed go to Bockwinkel, as Bockwinkel and Von Erich come together, and it is Bockwinkel who takes a double-leg takedown on David Von Erich and immediately rolls him over into a Boston Crab. What a technical move by Bockwinkel to get things started here. David Von Erich still playing to the crowd as the bell rang, and Bockwinkel just took him right down, rolled him over into a Boston Crab. What's Bockwinkel going to do now? He's going to go to the sleeper. David works his way out of the Boston Crab, works his way to the bottom ropes, but as soon as Bockwinkel sees Von Erich get to his feet, he slaps on the sleeper, and we may have a submission here on a roll of 4 or lower. And on a roll of 4, he got him just like that. Oh my goodness, what a disappointing match, as Bockwinkel and Von Erich were primed and ready to go for a technical wrestling masterpiece, and Bockwinkel immediately takes advantage of David playing to the crowd, puts him in the Boston Crab, and then clamps on the Bockwinkel sleeper, and it is good night David Von Erich, and good night Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Championship. Nick Bockwinkel is your winner just like that, and he is your defending successfully PWMA heavyweight champion. And I must admit, I'm disappointed in the not necessarily the outcome, but in the quick fashion in which that match was resolved. I was hoping for a more competitive battle. And in fact, for situations like this, I have created a new chart called the flash pin chart. And according to the flash pin chart, when you get an unexpected ending like this, you give a roll of a d6, and that determines if anything out of the ordinary happened. And on a roll of 5, that is simply the roll that indicates that the winner of the match dominated the match and took the loser to task right from the opening bell. That chart has other things on it like outside interference or distractions or even the possibility of an injury to one wrestler or another. But I think that scenario makes sense as an exclamation for this turn of events. Bockwinkel is the smartest man in the wrestling business. And if you don't believe that, you can just ask Bockwinkel and he will give you that opinion of his own perspective. He has used that Bockwinkel sleeper to great success over his career. And in fact, Bockwinkel has put out Andre the Giant not once but twice with that Bockwinkel sleeper, and is the only man in the history of Heartland Championship Wrestling who owns 2 victories over Andre the Giant. And if he can take down Andre the Giant, he can certainly take down David Von Erich with no questions asked, and that is what he accomplished here tonight in Dallas. So the fans in Dallas are going away disappointed. Bockwinkel, of course, taunting the fans on his way back up the aisle. Paper cups and beer bottles are being thrown at Bockwinkel, but he's got enough security taking care of him that he will be able to leave the ring area safely. And in another 15 minutes or so, David Von Erich will wake up from the effects of that sleeper hold, and he will go home disappointed at his failure to compete successfully for the Pro Wrestling MidAmerica Heavyweight Championship. And that is going to end our card here tonight. So it was a couple of matches that ended more quickly than expected, and certainly the wild chaos between the Freebirds and the Midnight Rockers and the Conway family. But that is where we will wrap things up for tonight, fans. Thank you for everybody who came out. Cleveland Baseball 879 joined us here tonight, as well as Frank Wainscott. We appreciate everybody's support for Heartland Championship Wrestling. And from the Dave Cave, this is Dave Little signing out, saying that's our stream, and I am out of here.